Hey guys, sorry I'm out today. My daughter's sick, and I think she might have given it to me. I woke up not feeling great this morning. But anyway, I just wanted to go over multiplying and dividing rational expressions. If you know how to simplify rational expressions like what we did yesterday, this is going to be pretty easy. So let's just get into it here. You're going to come across, first kind of problem you're going to come across is one like number one, and then you're going to come across stuff like number two here where you might have to factor the top and bottom, and then we're basically canceling stuff. That's really all it is. So what most people would probably teach on number one is they would say, hey, go ahead and take the top and multiply it across, and then take the bottom numbers and multiply those across, and then cancel things. That's probably the easiest way to do it. So if we do that, we'd have 5 times 6 is 30, right? 5 times 6 is 30. You have x squared times x. That would be x cubed. And then you have y cubed on the top there. On the bottom, you have 2 times 10. That would give you 20. And then you have x, and then you have y squared times y, which would give you y cubed. And then basically what you can do is you can cancel things here. So 30 and 20 are both divisible by 10. So if we divide them both by 10, we would get 3 and 2. If you have x cubed and you divide by x, really what is that? That's like x times x times x over x, and you can cancel those, and so you're left with just an x squared on the top. Okay, so you're going to have x squared on the top there. And then y cubed over y cubed is just 1, so we don't really bother writing it. This would be your final result there. You can do it that way. Some people like to actually cancel in the fraction multiplication itself. So like you can come over and cancel the x's, and then what you can do is you can say, look, I know I have 3 y's on the top, and then I have 1 here and 2 here, so I have 3 on the bottom. So some people will literally just come through and cancel the y's. And then they'll say, look, 6 and 2, those are both divisible by 2. So I'm going to divide those both by 2. So the 2 becomes a 1, the 6 becomes a 3. And then 5 and 10 are both divisible by 5. So I divide those both by 5. And then you just take whatever's left, right? So what do we have left on the top? We have 3 and x squared. And then what do we have left on the bottom? Just literally just a 2. So you'll get the same thing in the end. But those are two different ways to do it. Okay, let's look at number 2 here. So number 2, we're going to multiply these. What I recommend doing when you do these is to not literally multiply the tops across like we just did on the last one. What I recommend doing is factoring the tops and the bottoms to see if you can find any common factors that are going to cancel with each other. So let's factor the tops. The bottom's x minus 4 here. Okay, x squared minus 3x minus 4. How does that factor? So we need two numbers that multiply to make negative 4 that add to make negative 3. That's going to be 4 and 1. So it's going to be minus 4 plus 1. On the right here, x squared minus x minus 6. That's going to be x minus 3x plus 2. Okay, now what we're doing is we're looking for factors that are the same on the top and bottom. These are all multiplying each other. Okay, the x minus 3 is multiplying the x minus 4 on the bottom. All the tops are multiplying. So we can actually cancel here. So I see an x minus 4 on the top and bottom. Those are going to get canceled. I see an x minus 3 on the top and bottom. Those are going to get canceled. So what we do is we just come through boom, 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 boom. And then what happens is we're left with, on the top, x plus 1 times x plus 2. And then on the bottom, we don't have anything left, so we put a 1 there. You don't really need the 1. You could just say x plus 1 times x plus 2. Okay? I'm not sure how Delta Math wants it, if it wants that, or if it wants you to actually FOIL it and say x squared plus 3x plus 2, but whatever. Figure out which one works and then roll with it. Okay? That's how you multiply rational expressions. Super simple. Dividing rational expressions is very similar. And the logic here is that when you divide by a fraction, it's the same thing as multiplying by the reciprocal of that fraction. Okay? So what do I mean by that? What I mean is x squared minus 4 over x minus 3 divided by this fraction is the same thing as flipping this fraction and then multiplying by it. So what you can do is you can change this multiplication and just flip the numerator and denominator. It's a nice little trick with fractions, okay? That always works, by the way. So if you're doing that with numbers, like what's 3/4 divided by 5/7? It's the same thing as 3/4 times 7/5. Okay? So it's a nice little trick. Make sure you're always flipping the second one, not the first one. Okay, you wouldn't want to say 4/3 times 5/7. That would not be correct. Okay, so on this one, here we go. Top, difference of squares, x plus 2, x minus 2. Bottom stays the same there. Not equals, times. On this one, we have x plus 9, and then on the bottom, we're going to factor that. How does that factor? X, let's see. Need to multiply to make negative 18, add to make 7. That's 9 and 2, so plus 9 minus 2. So we're just looking for things that are the same on the top and bottom here, which would be all of those. So those are all going to cancel out. And we're going to be left with our final answer here is going to be x plus 2 over x minus 3. That's it. That's what you would put for that one. Okay, let's look at another one. These are just basically more practice of the same thing, although I would stick around for number 5 or fast forward to watch number 5 because number 5 is slightly trickier. But on this one, we can't really do anything to the left fraction, but on the right fraction, we can factor the top and we can factor the bottom. The top is a difference of squares. The bottom factors like that. And then let's see, the x plus 1's cancel. The x minus 2's cancel, and we're left with x minus 1 over 4x cubed. Okay, that's it for that one. Let's look at 5. 5's pretty tough, and the reason that people hate 5 is because you have an x cubed there, and people are like, we've never done this before. I don't know what to do. So here you go. You ready? The first fraction stays the same. The second fraction, it's already multiplication, so we're good there. So we're going to have x plus 4 times x minus 4. And then the bottom here, let's think about this. That x cubed plus 5x squared plus 4x, we can pull out a greatest common factor. Remember, that's what I always recommend doing first. Look for a greatest common factor to pull out. So they all have an x in them. And if we pull out an x, we're left with x squared plus 5x plus 4. And that right there, we should be able to factor, right? So we're going to have x, and then after that, this orange part here, x squared plus 5x plus 4, we can actually factor that. So let's do that. X, we're going to want x plus 4, x plus 1. So that's that orange part factored there. Okay? All right, let's cancel now. So we got x plus 1s, we have x plus 4s, and I think that is it. So our final answer here would be x minus 4 over... I usually put this, if you have a lone x, I usually put that first. So I put x and then x minus 6. Make sure you have those multiplied there on the bottom. Okay, so that would be your final result there. You cannot cancel anything here. Don't try to cancel the x's. Don't try to cancel these x's. The 4 and 6, you can't cancel those. Why? Because there's subtraction there. Okay, so remember, if you ever have a fraction like a over b divided by c over d, this is the same thing as a over b times d over c. You're just going to flip that second fraction there. Okay? All right, that is all you guys need for the Delta Math today. Best of luck. I will hopefully be back tomorrow.